And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey everybody, I'm Tom Vasel, and today we're taking a look at Epic Alliances. Actually, it's called Disney Sorcerer's Arena Epic Alliances Core Set. What this is I know that it is a game based on a mobile app, but if you never heard of mobile app, doesn't matter. You are taking some of the characters from Disney, and we're talking about just a wide range of characters. We have Mickey Mouse from the Sorcerer's Apprentice, actually not Mickey Mouse technically, from Fantasia. You have Sully from Monsters Incorporated. You have Aladdin and Ariel and Gaston and more. And you're going to take some of these characters, mix them together on a team, and fight the other team. You're taking some decks, doing a smash up of those decks of cards, and just having a little bit of combat, running around controlling parts of the board. Why are these Disney characters fighting each other? That does not matter. You're just putting together your dream team, or at least the dream team you can make from the 8 characters in this set. Here's how it plays. Now, there are multiple chapters of how to learn to play this game. Chapter 4 is essentially the full game. So that's kind of, I'm just going to give you some idea of how that works. You're going to be picking 3 characters. So here we have Ariel, Aladdin, and Sully on one team. And then the other team we have here, the bad guy team, Maleficent, Demona, and Gaston. And then there are 2 other characters in the set, but these characters didn't get drafted. Now, when you pick your characters, you're going to be on the red team or the blue team. So you'll put rings on their bases. Each base also shows you have a marker here to show you their maximum hit points, and you're going to be putting them in your starting area. You're also going to be taking a deck for each character. So this is Gaston's deck, and here's Maleficent's deck. And you're going to mix these decks together to make a draw deck that you'll be pulling cards from. You'll have a handful of cards. Over here next to the board, you're going to put the characters in every other type situation to show the order that the characters are going to go through on each turn. So, for example, in this particular example, Maleficent goes first, then Aladdin, then Demona, etc. On a character's turn, the first thing you'll do is you'll check their statuses. Now, as the game goes by, you can have different statuses happen to you, like maybe she's shrunken, or maybe she has a magic broom. Actually, she wouldn't have magic broom because that can only go on Mickey. Maybe she's cursed. And these are going to have status tokens on them. You'll be pulling these tokens off when they're all gone. Then the status will go away. But these will cause different effects based on what it is. Then you're going to, if you're KO'd, and in this game you're going to get KO'd a lot, you just come back on the board here, and you'll start your turn. Then the player will draw a card. And then each character has 3 actions you can take in any order. On the character card, you have skills. So that's one of the things you can do. So for example, Ariel here, she can reveal the top card of her deck. If it's an Ariel card, draw it, or she can discard it. And one of the characters recovers a hit point, or you put it back. She has that choice. Also, you have a movement and an action. You can always move 2, and as an action, you can always attack somebody for 2 damage. However, your cards are going to change things up. So each card has a green and a red side to it. So Gaston, instead of doing a normal move 2, he can remove any status effects of his choice and move 3. The cards are always going to be better than the standard actions. However, like for example, these Gaston cards only work on him. You can't use them on someone else. As you use cards, you're putting them in a discard pile. They have these different symbols on them. When there are enough symbols in your discard pile to match the symbols shown on the bottom of the card here, you can remove them from the game to upgrade your character, where they now have a special ability over here. These numbers here on the side just show you what symbols are on the cards of your deck for purposes of deck building. Up here at the top, this symbol here basically shows you when you put your decks together. This is your hand size. You're going to add together all the numbers here. So for example, if I'm playing with Aladdin, Sully, and Ariel, I can have a hand size of 6. This is their hit points before they're defeated. And then this is how many victory points you get when you knock them out. So there's 2 ways to get victory points. One is by KOing another character. They'll come back next round, but you've got some victory points for doing so. And also, if you begin your turn on one of these spaces in the middle, you'll also get a victory point. The first player to get 20 victory points is the winner. And that's basically it. There is a team play variant where you can play with actually all 8 characters, and I'm assuming when more character packs are released for this, you'll be able to just plug and play and put them in the game. I really like most of the components for this game. These cards are really nice. It has all this information on it. It's pretty simple and easy to go through, and the art is really well done. Each of the decks, you have a lot of fun different things in them that will remind you of whatever they're in. So you can see Sully here has the buddy system, wide swipe, the top scarer here, and they all have a very different feel to them. The characters themselves are acrylic. You're going to have to, well, you don't have to, I guess, but I did, peel off a layer of plastic, which is kind of a pain in the neck. I wish that they stood in these a little better. Now here, Demona works pretty well, but the Little Mermaid for me has, she pops out all the time. But I also can't glue these in because you're going to take these rings off. Ariel, I could glue in because the ring comes like that, but for many of the characters, you're not going to be able to put the ring around them. The ring itself, you have to like pick it up and move it, so it's not like a click dial. I guess I didn't want to get in trouble with WizKids, but I do wish that was a little better. That's a little bit clunky moving those dials, and it's hard to see at any given point. I think I would maybe color this arrow a little bit more, maybe a different color to show, what number it's pointing at. I really like this turn order thing here. This is fantastic, and having the different status effects coming in next to the characters works really well. This is fantastic, and I enjoy that. And even though there's a lot of status effects, they're happily printed right here in the back of the rulebook. The rulebook does a nice job walking you through each of the different sections, and then when you get to the rules of the full, later on, only the orange stuff is new. So you could just go to Chapter 3 and learn to play the whole game from there. But if you're only worried about the new stuff, as you go through each one, I played it in game order, and I thought it does a good job at teaching you the game through the various chapters. Now, it's hard to talk about this game without talking about the possibilities of it. This says here, for example, Epic Alliance's core set. That means we're going to want more. I would imagine that the op is going to, come out with maybe other core sets or other characters, and then mix them together is going to be a lot of fun. They did a good job here. They have 4 villains and 4 heroes, so if you feel weird about mixing the characters together, you can do that. But then if you also do that, there's not going to be a lot of like, ooh, what would it be like to see Gaston with, one of the characters, Mr. Incredible? Well, hopefully we'll see that stuff in the future, and Disney has literally thousands of characters. So the expansion possibility is there. But the expansion possibility could also never happen, so we need to look at this game based by itself. And on that end, it works really well. So this is kind of a game that's geared towards kids, and in fact, even though adults could play it, and I would, I'm going to be putting it into the Dice Tower library in the kids section. But I think when you play this game, it's very nice in how these chapters are put together, and I think the complexity leveling works really well. In fact, I think my favorite chapter is Chapter 3, because the only difference between Chapter 3 and 4 is in Chapter 4 is when you look through your discard pile, take those cards out of the game to upgrade your character, and I felt that that adds just one step too many for most kids. I don't think it's a bad thing. I like playing with it. It adds some strategy to deck building, or you might play a card that you weren't playing anyway just to upgrade your character. But once you take that out, that's a lot of complexity for, I think, just basically a small rules change in the game. Other than that, though, I do like playing the full game. I like I said, the status effects. Each character's a different feel. Ariel is kind of a healer. Gaston is just melee, just walks up there and just punches the other person. Sully's kind of the same way. And in this game, Gaston and Sully have punched each other many, many, many times. So I think the game is a lot of fun. I'm hesitant to call it excellent because it does have the feel of a core set. As in, you're going to play this for a while, then after a while you'll go, I want more. And if there's more, that's fantastic. And the acrylic miniatures look good, but oh man, I wouldn't mind having actual physical miniatures of the creatures running around, because that, it's Disney and that would look really cool. Although I suppose you could find, little plastic figures of every Disney character out there. You could replace them in this game. So it's neat. This is definitely, most Disney games out there aren't very good. This is definitely one of the better ones, and it's a fun tactical game anyway. You know, I said it's based on a mobile app that I have not played, but I feel like I have played the mobile app. I've played games like this, a Final Fantasy Tactics kind of style, where you're moving people around the board, and I'm a big fan of shuffle decks, where you take decks of different characters, put them together, and make one. That's a mechanism that I enjoy because it's not a deck building game where I figure out every card. I'm just taking 3 characters and going, and then you play. And then seeing how those characters help and work with each other. When it's some character's turn, you don't have any of their cards. You still have something to do. You can still move and attack or use their special ability. So you never feel like there's nothing going on. Gameplay's pretty quick. I can move a character, you move a character, boom, 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 boom. For a while, no one has any points, but once you start knocking characters out and controlling the middle, the game escalates pretty quickly. Most games are going to take around 30 minutes. So it's a fun one. If you're a Disney fan at all, and don't mind Disney characters punching each other a lot, you're really going to enjoy this one. I like it a lot. I have this hope that we're going to see more characters in the future because I think that will expand it. This is one of those games I think will just get better the more stuff that's in there. But I think for a lot of people and a lot of kids, a lot of adults, this is going to be a game they really enjoy. So that's Sorcerer's Arena, Disney Sorcerer Arena, Epic Alliances. That's a long title. Dice Tower Judgment approved.